This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather Hurler. It's Jeff Cutter welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, September 29th, is a legend who's playing for the Phoenix Suns as of right now. He's one of the greatest players in NBA history, winning 2 NBA titles and MVP, 2 Finals MVP awards, 4 scoring titles, Rookie of the Year, and a Partridge in a Pear Tree. Just kidding. He's part of the 75th anniversary team for the NBA when they did in 2021. He's a top prospect who was picked number 2 in the 2007 draft, playing for many teams in his career. Now he's playing for the Phoenix Suns. His name is Kevin Durant, who's now 36 years old. Durant was born September 29, 1988 in Washington, D.C. Unfortunately, when he was an infant, his father left the family, so Durant's mom and grandmother would help raise him and all that. Durant's father re-entered his life and traveled with him to basketball events. Kind of awkward. But anyway, Durant and siblings grew up in Prince George's County, Maryland, on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. He was 6 feet tall by the middle age. So Kevin Durant wanted to play for his favorite team, and shockingly, not the Washington Wizards. It was Washington. He adored the Toronto Raptors. Of all teams, it was the Toronto Raptors. He wanted to play for the Raptors. Wow, I can't believe it. Kevin Durant actually wanted to be a Raptor. Most players don't want to be a Raptor. Anyway, because Vince Carter was there. He would play AAU for a lot of things and would wear number 35. But his jersey number is in honor of his AAU coach, Charles Craig, who was murdered at the age of 35. So regardless of that, he committed to the University of Texas. He could have been in UConn, he could have been at North Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, or Louisville, but he wanted to set his own path. After all, choosing college with a lesser-known program actually works out because he wanted to set his own path and probably just wanted to lead it. So, yeah, it was all that. Durant would have probably been the number 1 pick in the 2006 draft out of high school. I mean, he was perfect. Unfortunately, though, the NBA made its one-and-done rule, meaning that you would have to spend 1 year in college or go internationally and have a couple years, or basically the equivalent in international thing, to be eligible to be drafted by the NBA. The worst part was, guess who had the first pick in 2006 if it wasn't for the one-and-done rule? That's right, the Raptors had the number 1 pick in the 2006 draft. And if Kevin Durant was eligible to compete, I think the Raptors would have definitely taken Kevin Durant and not that freaking Andrea Bargnani who fucked everything over. Good thing the Raptors got rid of him when they did to the Knicks. Anyhow, Durant for the 2007 college season, by going to be 6'9", averaged 25.8 points and 11 rebounds per game. Texas was given a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, beat New Mexico State, but somehow, despite a great performance for Durant, USC upset them in the second round. Nevertheless, Durant was recognized as a unanimous National Player of the Year award. He decided to declare for the NBA draft because he was allowed to. He had his year in college. He was eligible to be drafted. Texas would retire his number 35. Why wouldn't they? So anyway, Portland had the first pick and could have taken Durant, but oh no, they decided to take Greg Oden, who unfortunately, despite a good year with Ohio State, was injury prone and really didn't get off the blocks, making him a massive draft bust. Seattle says thank you very much and took Durant. Portland, for the second time, decided to take a center in front of a highly touted player. Like Portland took Sam Bowie in 1984 instead of MJ, and now they took Greg Oden instead of Kevin Durant. Both big, giant mistakes. Durant, in his first regular season game, put up 18 points against the Nuggets. He was named NBA Rookie of the Year at the end of the 2008 season after scoring 20 points per game. He joined Carmelo and LeBron as the only teenagers in league history to average 20 points per game over an entire season. That's pretty good. Unfortunately for Durant, he would only spend 1 year in Seattle. But it wasn't his fault. It was the fault of the franchise. They would move to Oklahoma City to become the Thunder. And OKC drafted Russell Westbrook, who would form an all-star combination with Durant and all that. Durant put up 25 points per game and was a strong candidate for the most improved player, but lost that thing. Somehow he still grew. He was 6'9" when he started in the NBA, and he turned into 6'11", which was weird. During the 2010 season, Durant became the youngest NBA scoring champion ever with a 30-point per game thing. They faced the Lakers in the playoffs and lost in 6 games. A lot of people said OKC was just going up from here. Durant would sign a 5-year, $86 million deal after his rookie contract expired and put up 27.7 points per game. And for the second straight year, he led the NBA in scoring. OKC took 4th with 55 wins. They would get to the conference finals against Dallas, but lose in 5. Dallas would then take out the Miami Heat in the finals. Durant scored 36 points at the 2012 All-Star Game, being the All-Star Game MVP, and won the scoring title for the 3rd consecutive year. They put up 47 wins, OKC did, and were the 2 seed in the Western Conference. They got to the NBA Finals where they would face Miami. And unfortunately, the Heat were on a mission. LeBron, Bosh, and Wade, the big 3, were trying to get Miami the title that they couldn't in 2011. And they did, 2012. Durant did okay, 30.6 points per game in the finals, but unfortunately his team couldn't handle Miami. Durant actually joined an exclusive club, a 50-40-90 club, which is a player to have 50% field goal percentage, 40+% from 3-point range, and 90+% free throw shooting. OKC won 60 games, and it looked good for them, but somehow things were bad. Westbrook would tear his meniscus in the first round against the Rockets, meaning he was out for the postseason. So Durant had to take more of a leadership role. Unfortunately, though, they got shocked by Memphis in the second round. Memphis of all teams. Nevertheless, Durant did fantastic, putting up 59 wins, and Durant was the MVP, 32 points per game. OKC was down 3-2 and was heralded in the newspapers as Mr. Unreliable, Durant was. However, he helped OKC win Game 6 and 7 and got past the Clippers before losing to the Spurs in the Western Finals. But of course, this massive MVP season is most memorable for the speech Durant made after he got the MVP trophy, dedicating everything to his mom about the fact that she put Kevin and his brother first when she was struggling with them, obviously with his father leaving the family, and told his mom, "You're the real MVP. Get out the tissues." Anyhow, prior to the start of the 2015 season, Durant had a fracture in his right foot and was out 6 to 8 weeks. So that was unusual for Durant. Unfortunately, though, he kept getting injured. He injured his ankle, he injured his left big toe, and by March 27th, he was out for the rest of the season after deciding to go foot surgery. He only played 27 games in that 2015 season. However, in 2016, he came back with a vengeance, scoring 28.2 points per game and helped the Thunder get 55 wins. OKC took care of San Antonio and then faced Golden State in the second round. Things were looking good. OKC was up 3-1. And unfortunately, though, they blew their 3-1 series lead. Durant put up 27 points in Game 7, but they lost. Man, they could have had the 73-win Golden State Warriors and go to the finals, but they fucked it up. Well, justice was served as Golden State was up 3-1 in the finals against Cleveland, and they blew that. So, what can you do? So anyway, Durant decided to sign with Golden State, and a lot of fans and pundits were really upset by this move. Durant basically wanted to go join Golden State to form the super team and basically would be title chasing and all that. However, he signed a 2-year, $54 million deal, so it was huge and all that. So Durant made his Warriors debut against the Spurs, put up 27 points, but they lost in a blowout. Durant would score 34 points February 2017 when he came back to Oklahoma City as a member of the Warriors, and the Warriors won that thing. Nevertheless, Durant actually suffered a grade 2 MCL sprain in a tibial bruised knee, which forced him to miss the final 19 games of the season. Golden State still won 67 games and were number 1 in the West, and Durant came back in time for the playoffs and helped the Warriors become the first team in league history to start postseason 12-0 by sweeping through the first 3 rounds. Now, a lot of you will probably say, especially Laker fans, will probably say, that's actually false because the Lakers swept through the first 3 rounds in 2000. Well, 2001, excuse me. The only problem was that the best of 7 first round the Warriors did in 2017 didn't happen in 2001. The best of 5 first round was the Lakers. So the Lakers had to play a best of 5 first round in 2001 instead of a best of 7 like the Warriors did. So they would have probably been 12-0. The Warriors were huge in all that. Durant helped them in Game 3 win, and they were actually 15-0. So the Warriors almost went through the postseason undefeated. Lost Game 4, but still they won Game 5 thanks to 39 from Durant in Game 5. He averaged 35 points in the finals and definitely was named Finals MVP. The Warriors would be 16-1. The 2001 Lakers were 15-1 and could have been 16-1. I'm just saying. Anyway, Durant actually declined his $27 million option and became a free agent. So basically teams would clamor and all that. However, he did resign with the Warriors for less money than the maximum, which helped the franchise create salary cap space. So when he scored 40 points against the Clippers in January 2018, he got to be the second youngest player to hit 20,000 points. I think Kobe was younger. I can't remember. Anyway, he actually had to miss games because of a fractured rib. But he came back in time for the playoffs. And Durant scored 37 points in Game 1. But they were down 3-2 in Game 6, and people were criticizing Durant for playing too much in isolation. But nevertheless, Durant scored 34 points in Game 7 against the Rockets and moved on to the finals. They took on the Cavs again, and Golden State this time swept Cleveland, winning the second straight title, and Durant would be named Finals MVP. In 2018, he re-signed with the Warriors on a 2-year, $61 million deal. So anyway, Durant looked decent and all that. Durant would suffer a right calf strain during Game 5 of the conference semis against Houston, missed Game 6, which Golden State won, and he missed the entire conference finals against Portland, which ended in a sweep. So after 9 games missed with a strained right calf, Durant came back in Game 5 against the Raptors in the NBA Finals, scored 11 points in the first quarter. Unfortunately, 2 minutes into the second quarter, he got hurt as he tried to drive past Serge Ibaka and suffered an Achilles tendon injury, which practically ended his time with Golden State, well, playing for Golden State in a sense. He limped off the court and was helped to the locker room. The Warriors did win Game 5, but Game 6 they lost and Durant was out. So Durant was trying his best to come back from injury, especially in the finals when down 3-1 against the Raptors. So anyway, Durant actually decided to leave Golden State for Brooklyn in 2019. The Warriors actually said they would not give a 35 to anybody. So rumors were circulating that Golden State will retire Durant's number 35. So in a sign-and trade deal, Durant was signed by Brooklyn. Unfortunately, though, he decided to sit out the entire 2019-20 season due to his injury. Of course, that was the year when COVID hit. And, all that. So he made his Brooklyn debut December 22nd, 2020 for the Nets against the Warriors, scoring 22 points against his former team. Durant would be reunited with James Harden, his Oklahoma City teammate, in a trade Brooklyn pulled off. Anyway, Durant would suffer a hamstring injury, which forced him to miss 23 games. Durant would actually be fined for messages he sent through social media to actor Michael Rappaport in a feud. Nevertheless, Brooklyn were the second seed in the East. They took care of Boston. And then in the second round against Milwaukee in Game 7, he put up 48 points, the most in a Game 7 in NBA history at the time. Of history. Unfortunately for Brooklyn, they would lose in overtime. Nevertheless, Durant decided to sign a 4-year deal with the Nets in 2021 for $198 million. Yeah. Unfortunately, he missed time in January 2022 because of a sprained MCL out 4 to 6 weeks. Durant was looking pretty impressive in all of that. Brooklyn beat Cleveland to secure the 7th seed. They would face Boston, and unfortunately, Durant was swept by the Celtics' top-ranked defense. And then he would make a trade request out of Brooklyn. Durant wanted to go to either Phoenix or Miami. Toronto and Boston actually were rumored to circulate to get him, and Durant did say he wanted to play for the Raptors at one time. However, after meeting with Nets management, he turned down the trade request, so that meant he was back to Brooklyn and got himself 20th on the points list. Durant actually was named an Eastern Conference starter for the All-Star game, and Brooklyn was looking pretty impressive. However, Brooklyn did not like Kevin Durant being a distraction, so they traded him alongside T.J. Warren to Phoenix for Michael Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, and a pick swap in 2028. Durant wanted to wear number 7 in Phoenix like he did in Brooklyn. Unfortunately, though, it was retired for Kevin Johnson. So, fortunately, though 35 was available, back to Phoenix and back to number 35. So, anyway, he made his son's debut against the Hornets, putting up 23 points. He played 8 games for Phoenix. While he had a left ankle sprain and would be missing some time. In his 8 games with Phoenix, Durant was 8-0 and helped the Suns take 4th in the Western Conference. So, anyway, he helped the Suns take out the Clippers in the first round, and then against the Nuggets, they lost in 6, and Denver looked pretty good, winning the title that year. Durant would set a mark in last season. He's now in the top 10 in scoring list. He's now 8th on the all-time scoring list after passing Shaq, March of 2024. So, I wonder if he'll still be around. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Anyway, Durant is most known for his national team career just as much as his NBA stuff with the Warriors and Brooklyn and other teams. He was selected to the national team for the 2010 World Championships. But he led the U.S. to their first World Championship since 1994, being tourney MVP in the process. In 2012, he had 19.5 points per game, helping the U.S. go undefeated en route to a gold medal. He put up 30 points in the championship game. He would have been part of the 2014 World Cup, but he had mental and physical exhaustion. He rejoined the U.S. on the 2016 Olympic team, leading them to a gold medal. Put up 19 points per game in 8 games. Durant actually committed to playing on the 2020 Olympic team. Well, 2021 because of COVID. He was second in points by a player in U.S. Olympic history for players, and Carmelo Anthony. He helped the U.S. win gold, and he was named the tournament MVP by FIBA. He put up 3 gold medals. Somehow, in some way, even though he was 35 in 2024, he had an appearance with the Olympic team in France. He became the all-time rebounding leader at the Olympics. And the U.S. beat France in the gold medal game, making Durant the first and only 4-time gold medalist in men's basketball. Of course, the Americans sent all amateur teams until 1992. But yeah, Durant is famous for being in U.S. colors for the World Championships, all that. Durant is very close with his mother still, obviously. He's a Christian who attended Baptist schools and all that. He would have religious tattoos on his stomach, wrist, and back. So, anyway, yeah. He has a lot of endorsement deals and all that. Very popular and all that. So, very influential and all that. So, yeah. So for Seattle / Oklahoma City, Golden State, Brooklyn, and Phoenix, he's put up 1,061 career games, 27 points per game, 7 rebounds per game. His career is not over yet. He's still playing. And in the playoffs, 170 games, getting to the finals a couple of times. In 2012, he was in the finals, but they lost to Miami, but won 2000, 2017, and 18 for the team, 29.3 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game. I don't know if a healthy Kevin Durant would have helped Golden State three-peat in 2019 against the Raptors. Probably not. So anyway, he's a two-time NBA champion, a two-time Finals MVP, NBA MVP, 14-time All-Star, 4-time scoring champ, which he did in 2010, 11, 12, and 14. Rookie of the Year, and 4-time gold medalist for the Olympics. So what's there not to like about Kevin Durant? A lot of things. But hey, it is what it is. Anyway, I'm Jeff. I'm going to do